welcome.
Hey, Kelly, thanks for having me on.
So your proposal would give people an extra $450 a week if they go back to work?
The idea is to have a bonus. Right now, as we just saw with your stock market report, the economy is starting to reopen, and that's good. But to have a robust economic recovery that we all want, we've got to encourage people to go back to work.
So how, right now, the $600 a week extra goes through, I believe, the end of July.
That's correct.
How would your proposal work, and how would, explain if this were rolled out, what it would mean, practically speaking, to every American who transfers from being on jobless benefits to maybe accepting a job or going back to work?
Well, first, let me just be sure people understand that under the current system, according to a recent study by the University of Chicago and American Action Forum, 60 to 70% of the people on unemployment today are making more than they did in their prior job. For the bottom 20% of wage earners, they're making on average double what they made in the workforce. So what I'm hearing from small business folks all around the state of Ohio is, hey, we're getting ready to, start to hire some people, and we'd like to reopen, but we're having a tough time getting our employees to come back and to find new employees. So the idea here is not to say that people shouldn't be getting help if they lost their job, and through no fault of their own, a lot of people did, but instead to say, hey, if you're on unemployment insurance and you want to go back to work, you can get a bonus to do that. So our bonus at $450 comes out of the $600 per week, and the idea is that that $450 is enough to make it, fair for people who are on minimum wage, as an example. The $450 is based on the average minimum wage to make sure that you're even, that you're not making more or less if you go back to work. So others have said it should be $200. Some have said it should be $600. But the point is to have a bonus to go back to work, which helps everybody. Helps the worker, helps the small businesses, and helps the taxpayer, because you're saving probably $40 billion a year just at the federal and state level just between now and the end of July.
Meanwhile, there's a discussion about potentially a different way. So, as I understand it, Democrats say they might consider keeping the sunset of the extra benefits if, in exchange, they can do a wage subsidy, an employee tax credit to keep people on payrolls. Would you sign up for a plan like that if that is what's offered in exchange? If it's like, hey, we don't, we're not going to do the extra $450 a week bonus for going back to work, but we will do some kind of wage subsidy.
Well, I'm willing to take a look at anything that gets people back to work. I think that we need to provide incentives for work. And again, what I'm hearing from small businesses here in Ohio is they're starting to get moving again, but they're having a tough time getting workers. And the employment situation is going to be key to getting this economic recovery going. The workplace needs to be safe. That's for sure. And our program would be optional. It's not something people would be required to take. It would be something I think a lot of people would take advantage of. But we can't have what the Democrats are proposing, which is in the Nancy Pelosi passed HEROES Act, the $3 trillion plus bill. It says that the additional $600 per week at the federal level, which again means that 60 to 70% of people are making more than they did in their prior job, that would continue into next year. I think that's not in the interest of our economic growth we all want to see and getting this recovery going again. It's not in the interest of workers, because if you want to get people back to work, everyone should want that. That's where people generally get their health care. That's where people get their retirement. That's where people get the meaning in their life and the dignity and self-respect that comes from work. So we should all be working toward that end.